Welcome back. And so in our conversation on the ease of doing business today, we'll be looking at the real estate sector and how that policy is making, business smooth sail for, practitioners in that space. And we have somebody who should know particularly what is happening in that space. Mr. Segun Osundairo is the CEO, Arcview Limited. He joins us right here in our Lagos studio. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You know, we can't talk about the ease of doing business without first of all looking at what seems to be the impressive performance of the real estate sector following the recent GDP rebasing of the economy, where the real estate sector outperformed about two or three other sectors with 46.52% in the third quarter of 2024. But some would say that despite the declining purchasing power of Nigerians, the real estate sector is performing. So where is all of that resources that is being channeled into that sector? Where is it coming from if Nigerians do not have enough for the basics?
Yes, thank you very much. Real estate is the biggest industry in the world. So it's not only in Nigeria, everywhere in the world, people want to invest in the real estate sector because it's such an industry that is stable, and it's what everybody needs. You must live in a house. You don't want to retire from here and still be paying rent. So everybody is always thinking about, thinking about how to leave a legacy for their children, and you can also use it as a leverage in the bank. So it goes. It's such an important industry that you must invest in. So when you mentioned about where is this money coming from, these are Nigerians in diaspora. They are really bringing in. When we had the dirty December, most of them came in and also invested in the real estate sector. So in the last 2 years, they've been the major bulk of purchasers of properties in Nigeria business, because they now believe in the system. Now we can talk more about security. There is more of we are sure that they can come home, unlike in the last 5 years, whereby you have to contend with the area of insecurity in the country. So because of now we have they can come home and come and invest. And when you look at what is also happening in the West, like what the Trump administration is doing, and some other countries all around in the Western world, everybody is now conscious of coming back home to invest because there is no place like home.
Sorry, are they buying to jackpada, or they're just buying
they are
for their family members?
To have something here. They are buying to, and because they are seeing the industry growing. For example, look at real estate property market in the Lekki axis. It's growing. People are coming home to invest. For example, Banana Island is such a place that everybody would like to invest in, because in the last 5 years, the market has grown. In fact, I actually checked that the rate at which it's appreciating in value, it's such enormous that you also want to put your money there, and you are sure of having good returns on your investment. And it's not really about you coming in to live in there. You can use it as a shortlet and be making daily money.
This growth, sorry for cussing, this growth, is it not antithetical to the growth of the economy in itself? Because one of the problems we have, let's use Lagos as an example, especially that Ikoyi and Lekki you mentioned. The houses are too pricey. There's a gentleman, maybe one of these days we'll get him, who has been at the vanguard of comparing, when you see a house of $5 million or $1 million, I thank God the tax policy now says that if you're pricing in dollars, you will also collect your money in dollars in terms of taxes. So you see a house of $5 million, $10 million, $7 million, even $15 million right here in Lagos, and compare that same house, same amount, say in LA and some part of the West, the one in Lekki and the one in Ikoyi looks like a hostel, literally. So what is this boom really all about? is it just artificial? Just explain to us what exactly is going on and speak to this issue of pricing, because that's argument of 1% or the 1%.
Yes. Well, for me, it is not too pricey, because for you to have that house ready, you need to spend so much in bringing it up. One, you look at the prices of building materials. In the last 2 years, you look at Naira dollar, rates, because it is what you buy that you're going to sell, and also you look at the ease of processing land title documents. You have to go through several bureaucracies, bottlenecks. It takes time, and how you have to maneuver your way with government officials.
Are you justifying the inflated pricing? Because the people who understand your sector are saying, even if you look at the quality of materials being used and the things that are used in the interior, they fall flat compared to the ones that are within the same range outside here.
Yes, you see, you cannot compare the market environs, in the West, outside the country with Nigeria. Nigeria is such a peculiar country in doing business. Our government needs to look into so many things before we can now provide these affordable homes. But as it is now, you can only sell what you have bought, because.
But relatedly, even at that, why hasn't this boom in the sector? Why hasn't it solved? This boom is not solving the problem at home, and it justifies Jeffrey's question about, the high falutin cost of homes.
Yes, we have that major challenge of building for the low-income earners and the middle-income earners. They are priced out from the property market. What he is talking about, a house of $5 million is meant for the elite and the high-income earners. So government needs to sit down and see how to look at how it was done in the 70s, in the 80s. The Baba Dakonde era, that is still possible. What they need to do is to look at that, the way it was done, and pick out the good side and see how to work around it. Because for you to build for the low-income earners now, you need to sit down with experts, and let's see how we can work it out. Number one is that there must be a viable mortgage system. In the West, that's how they do it. A very good mortgage system will help the off-takers, Nigerians, who are in need of these properties. Like, I could remember in the 70s, First Act 77, my daddy told me that with 3 naira you could obtain a form and spread your payment for about 20 years. That is payment for the house, But as it is it still possible? But a good mortgage system will actually take that out of, be able to see how to provide more. And also government must see how to partner with developers, private developers. 90% of houses in Nigeria presently are built by private developers.
And politicians.
So they have to
Let's not forget them.
Well, they have to sit, they have to sit with them and say, how do we provide homes? Government owns land. The 1978 Land Use Act gives them the power over land. We, the developers, we have the expertise, the experience in building. Now they should see, okay, the off-takers, the good people of Nigeria, they are available to get into this property market. Now what is missing? A viable mortgage system whereby everybody, Nigerians, will be able to access good mortgage system with good interest rate, single-digit interest rates.
So you're saying that in the absence of that, private developers will not go into building affordable homes for the middle class and those beneath that cadre?
Absolutely. You see, the banks should be able, as a developer, if I have very good rates, to build, why not? We surely build. We are working on that. That's what we do every day. So we need that solid partnership, everybody, all parties should come together and sit, Okay, the first thing is that as at 1978, Baba Dakonde era, they saw housing, provision of houses as a social investment. not as a money-making venture. You know, within 4 years, he was able to develop 16 estates, you know, just within 4 years. And they were able to sit with developers, banks. I pray our government, the government of Lagos State, the Ministry of Housing, that's the Minister of Housing, can see how to be more intentional about providing homes. You see, it is possible. Yeah, you know, it is possible. We actually, as a company, we have the biggest privately owned estate in the whole of Ogun State, and that project was an affordable project, you know. So, and we saw how it was done. So, for me, it's about you seeing how to partner with those who are doing the business. Now, we said politicians, we talked about developers building homes, and what are they building? They are building luxurious homes, you know, high-end homes, not a 2-bed, a 1-bed, a studio flat, a condos for the good people of Nigeria. But it is possible. And how does it work? Let there be a workable mortgage system, a pool of funds. All these monies that politicians are taking away, they should bring it together. In fact, there is so much money to be made than what they are even making presently. Because if...
You mean the corrupt politicians, the alleged corrupt that stole the money should now bring it? That's a long shot.
Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is that is also part of what is working against the private developers in the real estate sector.
Because if you bring this money together and there's a structure in place, thanks for technology. Now with tech now, you can easily track anything, you know, and we're talking about building you prepayment maybe for 10 years, and as you pay, you have your interest. You know, interest, single-digit interest, which will help because the 32%, 25% is not visible. Many Nigerians will not be able to afford it. If you can do 6%, 7%, that is good. And the very property we are talking about, the project we are building, will be the collateral. So if you default,
collect your house.
The house goes back to the market. And as it goes back to the market, when you are selling, you're not selling at the old price. You're selling at the current price. So this pool of funds would actually be what? Growing. With everybody being intentional, being sincere, you know, being ready to build for Nigerians and to improve this country and to develop this country. So it is doable.
Through key takeaways, a mortgage structure that works, capital for private developers, and low interest rates.
You didn't mention corrupt politicians.
Also ease of processing land titles, which is very important. And also they should review the existing land laws. That's 1978 Land Use Act. That should be reviewed, you know, because you know, we are still working with the 1978 laws, you know, guiding the...
I'm sure either by proxy or directly.
Guiding our industry.
The land ministries have heard you. Thank you so much, sir. We've been talking with Mr. Segun Osundairo, CEO, Arkview Limited. Thank you so much for coming to this time.
Thank you.